Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to curl your hair using thread or string. You can use whatever you want. This is for demonstrative purposes only. Usually I'm using weave thread, but it's too dark for this tutorial. And I'm also using some mousse. Lotta Body is my favorite brand. It's cheap and it gets the job done. So starting with your thread, you're going to have a little bit hanging off on the end and you're going to grab your hair at the base. Use your thumb to secure everything in place. Place your thread on, anchor with your thumb, wrap around at least 5 times. Maybe fewer, it depends on how good your hair is. My hair requires 5 times. After the 5th wrap, tighten just a little bit, not too much. You don't want to lose your hair. And then make sure it's nice and secure. Grab your thumb to help guide you going down and wrap. Now with each wrap, the gap in between determines how well you will stretch your hair or how refined it's going to look in the end. So what I'm going to show you guys now is a really tight gap. And that's how we traditionally do it. This is for more long-term styles, not short-term like I'm going to show you right now. My preferred gap is under 1 centimeter at any given time. That gives me the stretch that I need and I can style my hair any way I want to, but each gap has its purpose. Now on the end, this is very important. You're gonna come back up and make a loop and then wrap going down all the way to the end. Just keep wrapping and wrapping and wrapping to the end. And once you get down there, you are going to put the remaining thread into your nail and then pull over your finger so that you can push the thread through and secure it that way. And that's all I do on the ends to protect the ends of my hair and make sure nothing comes out. This is what it looks like. You can see 3 different types of wrapping and they're all useful for different things. So I'm gonna remove the end. It's very easy. It just slides right off and I'm gonna unwrap. One hand holds the thread while the other pulls the hair out. Sometimes it just unravels on its own when you're lucky. And this is why I don't like wrapping too tightly because look at that. It's gonna take forever to remove. Now the looser wrap is perfect for curls but terrible with straight hair. You can see the ridges there, so if you're trying to stretch your hair out, tighten that gap, okay? You can see it's ripply up top and it's a little bit straighter and smoother down below. Now that we all know how to do African hair threading, let's move on to our first curl, which is a corkscrew curl. You're gonna wrap up top 5 times like I showed you and tighten and then start wrapping coming down. Just under 1 inch gap in between each wrap, and that will give you a nice tight curl. If you want a looser curl, you're gonna have to have more length in between each wrap, okay? But we're gonna do a tight curl now, then a looser curl so you can see the difference. And once you get down to the very bottom, you're going to grab the thread with one hand and grab your hair with the other hand. Then make sure you tension the thread as you push the hair up so that you can create a nice corkscrew curl. Take your time doing this, go fast, it really won't matter because you are secure when you do it this way. Now once you get to the base, really push in there and then wrap around the ends about 3 to 5 times. You can also loop the hair or put a roller there if you've got excess hair hanging out. I didn't do it this time, but usually I do that with my natural hair. And then go down to the base after you wrap. However many times you wrap. I don't know why I did it so many times, but go down to the base and wrap about 3 times, then cut the remainder of the thread, and that thread right there will be your guide so that you can easily remove this later on, which is the next day for me. And I'm unwrapping everything and releasing the curl. This is what it looks like. It's really bouncy and springy, and we're just gonna remove the thread so that you can see what the curl looks like. And take your time doing this. You don't want to disturb your hair too much. You want this curl to last. So here it is, and I love it. And this is like the most traditional way to curl your hair using African hair threading. My mom did this on me when I was a kid and it has always worked. Let's get on with this tutorial, and this is the larger one. You're gonna get a larger section of hair, of course. Add your mousse. After adding your mousse, you are going to go ahead and wrap your hair with your thread at the base, 5 wraps. And then start going down. Now you can create a longer gap in between each wrap. And like I mentioned earlier, the longer the gap, the larger the curl, the tighter the gap, the smaller the curl. So you're just gonna go down all the way down to the end. And this is ideal for people who love big, voluminous curls. Not everybody wants a tight curl, and it's also perfect for people with longer hair. You don't have to just wrap and wrap and wrap forever. Now, I have thread in my right hand and I have my hair in the left hand, and I'm pushing up, making sure the thread has tension so that it's easy for me to glide all the way up without any problems. And once I get to the top, really just push up on it and then wrap around the ends. Again, you can use a roller on the ends, or you can create a loop, something I completely forgot to do. Then wrap at the base and cut the thread right there. Here you can see the small versus the large corkscrew curls. There's a big difference, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove the large curl so you can see what it looks like. And here we are. Very nice and springy. And this is ideal again for longer hair, or if you just want to do this quickly and get it over with. Let's do a comparison between the two, big and small. And I'm going to show you guys with the white paper, so there's a nice contrast. You can see what it looks like, but it always looks better when you separate. So we're going to separate this one as well so that you can see what it's really going to look like when you comb it out, or separate with your fingers. Now I am gonna move on to curl number 2, and this is gonna be a twist out like curl. So we're starting with our mousse and we're wrapping blah blah blah, and we're coming down. Now your natural inclination is gonna be to inchworm up when doing a twist out like curl, but you don't want to do this, and I'll show you after I'm done doing this why you shouldn't do this. Unless you have very kinky hair, you really do not want to do this at all. It only works on the kinkiest of textures, and this is why. It starts buckling in all these weird places, and it's not going to look uniform when you do this. And that's because each time you push up, you lose that momentum that you have when you wrap. So you can't guarantee that every single gap is approximately the same size. Now you have all this buckling and you can't really make it sit properly and evenly. So what I do for the twist out African hair threading curl, this is great for all hair types, is just go down with a little bit of a gap, maybe a centimeter or so, centimeter and a half. What's that? Like, yeah, centimeter and a half maybe. And then when you get to the end, do a little pushing and then start to, you know, even it out. Make sure everywhere is evenly distributed. And what you'll find is that you're gonna have uniform waves with your twist out. And eventually it's gonna look like perfect. Now I have to fix the ends. I have a little bit of hair hanging out, so I have to wrap all the way to the ends and just push up a little bit on the very end before I go ahead and secure it the way I showed you how. And here's the difference. Now on my kinky hair, those of you who are subscribed, you know what my hair looks like. I can do it either way. But if you have straight hair or looser textured hair, you definitely want to do it the second way. Now I'm gonna go ahead and remove both of them, starting with the not so pretty twist out. And I'll show you guys how it's set so that you will not do this. But again, it works only if your hair is like of the kinky variety. And you can see the kinks where some just don't look like the others, and it's just not pretty, it's just not. So remove the second one and cut off the end knot. And the easiest way to take it out is to just go up to the top and pull the thread out. That way you're not unwrapping going all the way up, and make sure you hold the hair at the bottom then just slide the thread out and then unravel just at the top. And that will release your twist out easily. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like with paper behind it so you can see better. Curl number 3, the Bantu Knot. Now I already have a Bantu Knot tutorial that I did on my natural hair using thread. And you can search for Bantu knots with African hair threading. You'll find my tutorial. I'm securing it all the way down to the ends, and if you noticed, I did not have a tight wrap. Why? Because it's Bantu knots and the Bantu knots are gonna stretch out. All I needed was for my hair to be secure and for my hair not to tangle. This is ideal for all hair types. So you're gonna create a nub and then start wrapping going down. And basically each time you wrap, your wrap should be at the base and you're pushing up the previous wrap. That's how you create a Bantu knot. And this works for straight hair and very kinky hair. Why? Because very kinky hair tends not to set well with Bantu knots, and straight hair tends to fall out of Bantu knots. So the thread secures your hair, it keeps it stretched out, and it keeps it from falling out of the Bantu knot if your hair has trouble, you know, staying in place. And I'll show you guys the difference between the Bantu knot and the corkscrew curl, which is just smaller at the end, kind of like wand curls. And I'm removing my Bantu knot now so you guys can see what the curl looks like. And you can see the thread just kind of looks anyhow because of the way that I wrapped the hair. But that doesn't matter at all, because the point of all of this was to get a nice smooth curl that stayed in place the entire time. So let's unravel. It's very bouncy, very springy, and get to this juicy curl. Look at that, it looks amazing. Definitely one of my favorite curls using African hair threading. And I'm gonna separate this one as well, but show you guys a comparison between the Bantu knot and the corkscrew. And this is the Bantu knot after I separated it. Let me show you another separated section. Really nice. No matter how many times you separate the Bantu knot curl, it's gonna look amazing. We're gonna move right along to the next curl, mousse first, of course. And you can use a butter if you want. Make sure you comb your hair, by the way. You really need to comb your hair so that you have no tangles. This makes it a lot easier to do this. But wrap your hair at the base and keep wrapping going down. We're gonna do like a reverse Bantu knot or cocoon curl. I don't know what they're called. All I know is we used to do this at boarding school back in the 90s. So that's what we're gonna do. I wrapped going all the way down, and up here I'm gonna put my hand, just a few fingers there, come back up and start wrapping from the base going to the end where the loop will be. And this is kind of like a larger version of how I secure my ends using African hair threading. Now this is ideal for curling the ends of your hair. So if you want your hair to be straighter up top with a few curls on the ends, this is a great way to go. And you can make it larger if you want larger curls on the end. Once you get to the loop, put the threaded section in, and you won't sacrifice your hair getting tangled when you do this. Also, if you have kinky hair, you don't have to stretch your hair beforehand. You just get into the curl. It's gonna stretch and curl your hair. That's the whole point of curling your hair with African hair threading if your hair is on the kinky side of the spectrum. If you have straight hair, you don't have to worry about that, but you might have to worry about your hair getting tangled. So the thread is going to act as a guard for your hair. Looks just like the Bantu knot, of course, because it's a similar curling method, except this would be ideal for just curling your ends. Now we are going to the last curl, and this is a concept curl, by the way. I tried this because I wanted to see how it would look before I tried it on my natural hair. Not sure when I'll ever try this on my natural hair, but we're gonna pin curl our hair. And the reason why I'm doing this is because a lot of people have asked me if I could do pin curls on type 4 natural hair and actually get beautiful curls without using heat. You guys know that's a challenge, so once I get up a little bit, I do put a bobby pin there. And this is only because the hair is long. If I was dealing with my short hair, I probably wouldn't do all this. My hair is like medium length, but I'm wrapping, going all the way up and right at the base. I'm gonna go through the hair that's just before the part where I started threading and secure that with another bobby pin, so I have a nice little hot cross bun. And the next day, of course, I'm removing this curl. So if you do have kinky hair, this is a nice way to do pin curls because you're not going to have to worry about stretching your hair beforehand, and you're not gonna have to worry about having kinks in your curls. You're just gonna have smooth, stretched out curls. I will try this out later on, maybe in the summer. I'm not sure yet, but I definitely am gonna try this on my natural hair. And it was hard to get it to behave itself. It was kind of acting like a snake, but I'm gonna go ahead and separate the curls so you can see how gorgeous they are. And this is what the curls are looking like. And I'm gonna use my hand also so you can see the ends. Very pretty pin curls. So you guys, let me know which curls you like the best or you will be trying. Are you gonna do maybe corkscrew curls, small ones, maybe the large corkscrew curls? Or are you more of a twist out person, or Bantu knots? Reverse Bantu knots? Maybe a pin curl type of girl. I don't know. You guys let me know. Thank you so much for watching. As always, take care of yourselves and I will talk to you soon. Bye.